Greetings everyone. This is going to be a video for the collective, for my subscribers and for all to whom may come in contact with this video and watch this video. This is for you. This is for all signs. Again, a general soul session for all signs. I wanted to do this because this would be my first time doing so, okay? And, I've done individual signs, I've done the elements, and I believe that throughout the different signs we have wherever in our chart, we all still have messages that will connect, that will meet in the middle, right? Because we're all connected. And I feel as though that's why many readers do it. So here's my first video for the collective. What we have crowning is halite number 41. We've got rainbow myonite number 22, clarified by number 47, ancestralite. We've got the card of faith here. In the traditional tarot, we've got the moon with the hermit reversed, the 9 of swords, the 6 of wands, and the 7 of swords. So this is what's going on. The first thing I want to come out of the gate and say is, I hope that you remember, I hope that we can all remember that detrimental experiences offer soul gifts, okay? Detrimental experiences offer soul gifts. Now, the reason that I say that is because I know from the readings that I've been doing that we've all been going through a lot as of late. Just shy of a year to a little bit longer, have been going through a lot, when we talk about recent times. And rainbow myonite just wants to remind us that after every storm, the sun comes out and all of the lands that were watered flourish again. There's no more flooding. It's almost like, I kind of picture it as an end of that suffering, like when you think about like plant life that drowns and things like that during a bad storm, or limbs that have been torn from branches and going everywhere. That's like a chaos, and I'm painting like as a suffering for that form of life, plants and trees and stuff like that. It's similar to that. So when we talk about the soul gifts that come in, I just want you to know, with this being clarified by Ancestralite, guys, the experiences that you've been going through have arose from not only, from karma, but to get a little deeper than that, just down the ancestral line. We talk about soul gifts being in the form of being able to break ancestral curses, ancestral shortcomings, ancestral karma. We talk about you being the one to do that, okay? We have halite here, which talks about deep cleansing and decluttering. And before I get into the full context of that card in this reading, I just want to say, when we talk about how it ties into ancestralite, to have like a spiritual cleansing within yourself and to literally be cleansing the energy down your lineage, which in turn is clearing the energy for those who came before you in the future, in the present. I mean, time is non-linear. However, we understand that healing, or therefore we understand that healing the past heals the future, and the timing for the halite is spring, which is now. When we talk about divine timing, not only is it just now as of the season. It's now as of you were the one that's chosen in this life, in this moment, to take on things that, as it pertains to this life you may be focused on, you don't fully understand because it's deeper than that, right? So what you're doing is you're opening up your consciousness, okay? And your ascendance to higher spiritual levels is giving you insight way deeper than what we generally have within this flesh. I've been getting a lot of the same cards even in readings that I've been reading for, no matter if it's a monthly or what are they thinking of you or whatever. Like Halite has come up quite a few times. So is Ancestralite. And I feel like it's a collective thing that we are starting to look beyond these constructs that we normally look within, and to see the bigger picture of what we're healing and what we're cleansing. Okay? There's denotations of coming into speaking your truth. But speaking your truth is going to come from being aware of what the ancestors are trying to tell you. So when we get back into Halite and we talk about deep cleansing, decluttering your home, your mind, your car, your surroundings, your body with a diet or a juice, or exercise to remove toxins, whatever it is. Like when we talk about doing all of those things, this is what opens us up, okay? This is what purifies us and opens us up to receive these ancestral messages. And, you know, there's also denotation to pay attention to your dreams. That's one of the ways the ancestors will communicate with you, is through your dreams. There are strong messages that are trying to come in. There are a lot of flashbacks that you just trippy things that may be happening to where you see yourself in other lives. You know, you have like very vivid, I don't want to say like torturous dreams, but kind of in a sense, some of you may be doing that. I remember when I was watching one of the latest videos from Water Baby Tarot. She's wonderful. I've been following her for a while. Y'all should if you don't. You know, she was talking about how, like, you know, her and readers who have gotten together have talked, you know, we're talking about when we had this planetary shift, there was this moment where you had these, like, crazy dreams, and you almost felt like you were being attacked, and it might be, like, a form of psychic attack, and you gotta watch out for that and you know, look out for those things. Now, I do believe that the psychic attacks you have to look out for, but I'm kind of feeling that, and she touched on this too, you know, she was given like, you know, a range of it all, but, and I aligned with the part where, you know, it was just basically discussed that we're digging deep and we're going back, and the things that we're seeing are part of our experiences that, you know, are within our subconscious, within our psyche and energy field, that we just have to look deeper into, realize what's ours and what it isn't first, you know, because it's a lot, y'all. Some of this is other people's energy, and a lot of it is karmic, and there has to be a huge ability to discern, to know. So there are also messages to watch out for drinking and, you know, drug intakes and other things that'll have negative bodily effects, and that will help you deal with the emotional issues. I really just think the ancestors are trying to help you, again, cleanse, to not just end cycles that only or merely extend to this life, but in cycles that will literally help you propel forward in ways that maybe from birth have had you feeling so stagnant. You know, I can't remember many things like off the top of my head right now, but I remember being a kid, like a very young kid, and just this feeling, you know, there was always this feeling. And I was able to have cognizance that this was outside of what my experiences were. Like any sad experiences I had as a kid at that point, I knew it wasn't the reason why I felt this deep level of like sadness and pain and grief. And, you know, A lot of it goes into what we experienced in the womb and so on and so forth. I get that. Or what, is literally passed down from, the parents in their experiences, which, may alter their DNA. But on a spiritual level, I knew it was beyond all of those things. You know what I mean? I knew coming into this life, when my slate was wiped clean, I was born, but I was still, I was very, I don't want to say innocent because that, the whole root of that word in no sense. We all had much sense, but, for lack of a better word right now, look, that level of purity, how about that I had really, because, we're open as children, we're susceptible to a lot. When they talk about kids seeing their invisible friends and this and that and the other, no, they're, kids are more likely to see spirits. The more you go on being touched by this world, the less you're connected with those things until you get older, and some of us find our way back, like we're doing right here, right now. Never will we have those childlike energies again, like as it is. We can still maintain a childlike nature, but will we have that level of sentience that we can barely remember right now? No. But yeah, in those heightened senses of being a child, I knew that there were things before this life that I had to deal with, that I was coming here to deal with. And I couldn't fully make sense of it, but I had like that general understanding, and the more I've talked to people throughout the years, I feel like many people have kind of had that, where there was just always something. And it could be on the positive note too. There could always, but what I'm saying is, when we're talking about healing, we're getting into the nitty gritty, depressive, saddening, so on things. Because on the happy side, it's happy. What we're doing is we got to balance out the shadow and the light. The light doesn't need much balancing. It's really only balanced by however much you choose to balance the shadow. It's kind of how it works, Interesting, right? Now, we also talk about many of you having natural healing powers, okay? So a lot of these healing powers are going to be activated or reignited through this point of autonomous growth, okay? And the only way you can use these powers wisely to not end up back in cycles you've been in before, or to create new shit show cycles, y'all, is to use your healing power wisely based on the level of work that you've done to be as pure as you can be, as clear as you can be, filled with as much clarity as you can be, with as much released as you can, because all forms of your life have been decluttered. Like, with too many distractions, negative influences, negative things internally that are yours or that people have placed upon you, whatever it is, it will not allow you to use your healing powers wisely, which also means it's going to be hella hard to heal yourself. It gets harder for people to heal themselves the more they go down the rabbit hole, right? So the further you're going in the other direction, the easier it is to heal yourself. You got to put yourself in position. Now, what I'm seeing here with the Moon, the Hermit, the Nine of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Seven of Swords, there's a lot that's still been worked on and a lot that's still been hidden. And I feel like there's a message of patience that comes within this Faith card here, as far as trusting the process, understanding that there's divine timing at work and everything is working out beautifully as well. Definitely understanding that there is faith within, going within and trusting your intuition and trusting the subtleties of your life right now, to move yourself away more from the tangibilities, or the tangibles, sorry, than you ever have before. Getting further away from the tangibles, you're starting to see how spirit really works. One of the songs that was playing when I was meditating, shuffling the cards and laying them out, was Blind Man Can See It from James Brown. If we're going to talk about, a collective soul session here, let's tie that in to someone who translated so much soul into creative form and artistry. That's already one note. Songs generally do resonate with the reading I'm doing. So when that came out, I noted it, and I was like, yeah, this is like, soul man number one. This is the king of soul, if you ask me. Now, and when I thought about the name of the song, A Blind Man Can See It, or Blind Man Can See It, I don't think there's an A in it. It really struck me as, and this could be something that's actually behind the song, I don't know. But it really struck me as, a very, very, very spiritual title to a song. Meaning, the things that need to be seen are oftentimes the physically unseen. You don't have to have eyes to see this. You don't have to have eyes to feel this. A blind man can see it. You know what I'm saying? Close your eyes and tell me you don't see the universe. Open it and tell me you just don't see down your block, kind of thing, So we're really starting to see things on a different level, experience them on a different level, but you have to have faith that you're going to be protected through that, because it's scary, it's vulnerable. You have to understand that, because this hermit reverse energy, I feel like there's just so much tension. I feel like there's some impatience. I feel like there's a fear of being vulnerable. I feel like you're not sure, you're not trusting your intuition, because you're not sure if the answers you're getting are like true right now. It's just kind of like you're doubting yourself and what's coming through to you. And the ancestors are saying, why are you doing that? And with the Nine of Swords, look at all the chaos it's causing you. All of the mental stress and anxiety. Well, good news is, collective, for some of you this was the past, and some of you this is the current. However, where we end up in this reading is pretty good, from the Six of Wands to the Seven of Swords, okay? Because within the Six of Wands, we're talking about great news and public recognition. There's a victory after hardship. A huge victory after hardship, okay? And ain't that funny? Because what exactly, were we talking about again when we got into the Rainbow Mayanite? Detrimental experiences, offering soul gifts, right? Same thing with the Six of Wands. There's renewed inspiration and hope. Courage is restored, and there's this charisma about you. So I think that as you start to relax and let go, and allow the universe to do its job, and allow you to be that vessel and that beam of light, you really start to see some of the fruits of your labor. Now, and that's when, like, we know that the universe loves us, because the universe can honestly choose to show us messages, and it's just regular unadulterated form, where we have to be in tune and pick it up, and then either you can, or you just won't on your journey. But those who who try and have faith and have hope are often rewarded with the blessings to be able to see or get that like physical gratification, you know, of people supporting us and saying I notice you and saying good job and saying you're wonderful, you know, because the universe knows we need love. Like I'm saying, it could be ruthless, but for those who really work within it and love it as much as it loves them, we get those beautiful forms of motivation. So I believe that's what the Six of Wands is talking about, and what it's allowing in the Seven of Swords, which usually takes on a particular connotation. We know that. I'm really feeling as though this is talking about partial success, you know? Like, and when I say partial success, I mean like success that's starting to grow. Like when we talk about the Six of Wands, when you're starting to be recognized for the things that you're doing, your contributions, and for who you are and what you're giving, you know, that's the beginning of that with the Seven of Swords. And you know, Seven of Swords is also a card of little talked about, but taking risk. It's about taking risk, innovative risk. Okay. So there's a huge rebirth and transformative period here, and I can't express how deeply this level of growth is for y'all and for many of us. I feel this reading personally. And the way I feel and the way I felt, like it was just a huge fucking shift that occurred, you know, recently. And I'm watching things just grow and grow and grow. And I'm like, you know what? Like, and that's why I can't even begin to put it into words for the collective, because it's just insane. How many people are ascending right now and how deeply. I feel like whereas people were taking in things about, you know, this spiritual journey, you know, people who maybe followed the religious faith before, there's a point where people, you know, want to know more, want to get deeper, so they do little by little. We've known it throughout history, you know, we've heard about it, we know it has happened, we've seen it in our lives. But hasn't it just seemed like out of nowhere, like a truck hitting a brick wall? Are people everywhere out of the woodworks, like not just questioning the little, like the skirts and the edges of something anymore, like being thrusted deep into themselves. People who aren't even spiritual, it's not even that they decided to, they were thrusted into it. They became who they are, you know? It wasn't even a thing like, oh, I'm kind of interested in this. I've been hearing a little. Like for some people it is. And they feel it resonates, so they want to explore. But others, I feel like they are just living anything that anybody could tell them or share with them. And that's what's changing the world right now. Realize the depths of this change. It is immense here. And when I talk about innovative risk and growth and how many of you are going to go out and tackle this world head on and really, 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 really change it, like this reading particularly is one of the few things I can recall, this is the biggest right now, that has my faith, my personal faith, restored in myself and all of y'all and humanity and the ancestors, those who came before us. The ancestors aren't just the bloodline, it's all of those who came before us. Take of that what you will.